Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome everyone. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أنت ربي وأنت خلقتني، لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت. أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت وأبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير، غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم، والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. We will start with Anne's introduction of the subject together with the reminders of the previous one so that we can tie up to our today's subject, inshallah. If she has anything to say, please go ahead, Anne.
So we focused and completed the 11th flash, which has the subtitle of which has the strength of sons. And the focus is on why the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, has the strength of sons, and why do we, Brother Murmur gave a very interesting insight into why we say peace and blessings be upon him. So my notes show, this is an imperfect summary, that what he brought to us is verbal speech of the Creator, at the same time, the silent speech of the universe. The mighty Quran is the book of the universe. The universe is actually a bigger size of the Quran. And if I have any of this incorrect, Brother Ali, please correct me. Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, brought a universal message of the Creator, a message for everyone, versus the previous prophets, which focused the message on a certain people. The prophet's message is evidence of the Creator of the universe and answers the human question of why we are created. There is a term used by Nursi called wings of messengership. And my notes show that he is like you and me, but applied and obeyed the message to show how a human being can be perfect, but it needs much study and much practice. And then we spent quite a bit of time talking about, Brother Ali talked about why do we say, please, peace and blessings be upon him always, after the Prophet's name. And it's in fact a benediction, presented as we are receiving benefits and we need to thank our Prophet for giving us those benefits. And what are the benefits? What did we receive, or what do we receive from the Prophet? And then there was a little bit of a historical context to that question. The Prophet operated in a very initially operated in a very difficult environment because he was up against the chieftains and nobles who believed that honor belonged to them versus honor belonging to every single human being because every single human being is equal. So the chieftains felt annoyed and fearful and asked him to stop. And in this context, the prophet struggled mightily, which is just a little bit of, I mean, I think we all know the historical background to a certain degree, but the fact that he prevailed and the message has never been lost or corrupted to this day, over 1400 years later, we have much to be thankful for, and we have to say that we have benefited greatly from the messenger. So the conclusion was that the benediction is only valuable if it comes from your heart. Otherwise, it's just word. So when we say the benediction, we should always say it with heartfulness that we truly are grateful, and that the benefits of the prophet has the strength of sons. Then that concluded the 11th flash.
Thank you. That was great. Yeah. And now I think we are coming to the end conclusion of the 22nd word. This is the last section, the 12th flash. Again, it is subtitled as which has the strength of sons. What does it mean? It is the truth of this is as clear as the sun, because daytime, everybody knows the sun is up. So there is no need to look for an evidence for evidence for the existence of the sun during daytime. That means obvious, which is obviously true. But of course, this is the conclusion. So we will read the conclusion as if what the prophet said was, or the message he brought was what we have been studying. It means all what we have studied and talked about were gathered, understood through the teachings of the prophet. And then, of course, definitely the prophet was teaching or practicing the Quran, teaching the Quran and practicing the Quran. That is why if we were convinced all the evidences listed, mentioned above, are taken from the Quran, so it must be obvious for us that Quran is the source of truth. That is why he says it is so obvious that what the Quranic message was now obviously true, and we can confirm it with no hesitation. Now, let's read it and see what the conclusion says, inshallah.
Okay. 12th flash, excuse me, which has the strength of sons. This 12th flash of the 22nd word is such an ocean of truths that all the previous 22 words form only 22 drops of it. And it is a source of such lights that they form only 22 flashes of that sun. Yes, all the previous 22 words are flashes of the stars of the universe. Are flashes of the stars of the verses shining in the skies of the Quran. All are single droplets from the river of a verse flowing from that ocean of discernment, distinguishing truth and falsehood. Each is but one pearl from a single of its verses, with all of which are chests of jewels in the sublime treasury of God's book. Thus, the word of God, which is in small part defined in the 14th droplet of the 19th word, has been revealed from the greatest name, the sublime throne, and the greatest manifestation of sovereignty, and it repeatedly states with all its strength, within a breadth and elevatedness that binds pre-eternity to post-eternity and ties the ground to the divine throne. And with the certainty of all its verses, there is no God but God. It calls the whole universe to witness and makes it testify. Yes, altogether the world hymns, there is no God but God.
Yeah. This is this, I understood that he says, all what we can read in the Quran essentially teaches us there is no God but God, which is the unique uh, principle among all religions. Although we know that Judaism and Torah also says or narrates the same phrase, but all teachings of the Torah was not heavily concentrated on La ilaha illallah, there is no God but God, as much as the Quran did. Uh, in this case, uh, there is no difference between any of the creatures, beings of the universe. All of them just falls in the category of no God. There is no God. None of them has any superior position in being the source of existence of anything. Everything needs to be created as they exist right now. So uh, the conclusion is there is only one creator. There must be only one creator, absolute being who is called God. This conclusion this conclusion must be utilized, borne in mind, while we are reading every part of the Quran, even there may be some stories like teachings, some practical matters, social and individual practical matters, prescriptions, suggestions, do this, don't do that. We have to understand all of them within the context of there is no God but God. That is why the significance of the Quran is in this context, we can see that there is no God, but God is everywhere in the Quran as if backbone, as a backbone of the teachings of the Quran. Another uh, point was mentioned here, which I underlined, revealed from the greatest name. The Quran, which is very famous phrase in Islamic literature, Muslim legacy, the Quran represents the great name of God. What does it mean? Greatest quality of God. As far as we are concerned, we can see that in the Quran, God speaks to us in a total way, or in a, how do you say, the whole uh, matters. For example, we see, I know I'm not clear, I am aware of it. Now, we see that there are small creatures, bigger creatures, there are animate beings, inanimate beings, different qualities of God are manifested or in all of them at different levels. Whereas Quran makes it so clear, for example, God is Khalaq. God is Khaliq. It means it's an absolute Khaliq, absolute creator, the absolute creator. For example, there is wisdom in each being manifested, but some of them are for us more obvious than the others. But Quran says, whatever you see in each being of the universe, you will see that even a glimpse of the manifestation of beauty, for example, it is from the most beautifully creating God's quality. It means Quran always points to the highest degree of the qualities of God. That is what we have to understand. Quran makes the explanations at the highest level. That is also revealed from the greatest name. That's how I understood it. The sublime throne is the same, greatest name. And also, Quran ties the ground to the divine throne. This is also interesting. Quran always talks about there is no God but God. The principle is this. Why? How we can apply there is no God but God expression to tying the ground to the divine throne? It means look at the ground. It means the created beings, the universe, ground, the universe, everything which is created says they cannot be the source of their existence. None of them, whatever they are, none of them can be the source of their own existence. Nothing of them, none of them can be the source of existence of anything, source of existence of the qualities of anything else. All of them individually, directly needs a creator. And since they exist within a total entirety complex, which is perfectly managed in an orderly manner, created in an orderly manner. So we understand that the Quran says all of them need an absolute creator, regardless of how big, how small, or how maybe more complicated than the other. But if you really study, everything is most complicated. If you really study, everything is most complicated. But we may notice, we may not notice. Regardless of our capacity, whether we understand or we notice or not, they need to be explained only by tying them to the source of their existence, which is the absolute being. That is why tying the ground to the divine throne is the main mission of the Quran. And this is verbally expressed in there is no God but God. That's how we should understand there is no God but God, from the ground, from the created being to their source of existence, who must be an absolute being. That what I gathered from this paragraph. Question, concern, welcome. Otherwise, we can continue.
Okay. If you look at the Quran with the eyes of a sound heart, you will see that its 6 aspects are
Excuse me, Anne,
Yeah.
your voice is not heard well. So for the recording, it may not be appropriate.
Okay, you want me to speak louder? Is this better?
Yes, and start from the beginning for
Sorry,
the
yes.
recorder. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Sorry.
If you look at the Quran with the eyes of a sound heart, you will see that its 6 aspects are so brilliant and transparent that no darkness, no misguidance, no doubt or suspicion, no trickery could enter it or find a fissure through which to enter and violate its purity. For above it is the stamp of miraculousness, beneath it, proof and evidence. Behind it, its point of support, pure dominical revelation. Before it, the happiness of this world and the next. On its right, questioning the reason and ensuring its confirmation. On its left, calling on the conscience to witness and securing its submission. Within it is self-evidently the pure guidance of the most merciful. Its outside observedly consists of the lights of belief, and its fruits, with all certainty, the purified and veracious scholars and saints, who are adorned with all the human perfections and attainments. If you fasten your ear to the breast of that tongue of the unseen, you will hear from afar a most familiar and convincing, an infinitely serious and elevated heavenly voice, equipped with proof which repeats, "There is no God but God." It states this so certainly, it is at the degree of absolute certainty, and illuminates you with a knowledge of certainty, resembling vision of certainty.
Thank you. Beautiful reading, mashallah. So let's come here. Sound heart, I underlined all this. We have to have a sound heart. What I understand from sound heart, open, unbiased. Let me see. If it is true, I will embrace it, confirm it. If it is not, reject it. That is what sound heart means, not corrupted by prejudice, by biased conditioning, saying that. And let me see if I like it according to my own standards. For example, giving a standard that, look, the Quran, I'm going to read you, but if you give me something which prevents my worldly purposes, then I will reject you. Then this person cannot benefit from the Quran. It must have an open-minded, open heart, not conditioning, not being conditioned by some, not without putting conditions, saying that, of course, reasonably confirmable, but no, I don't want, for example, let's say, a simple example, I'm saying, look, I don't want to give any of my property to anyone, so I don't want to share it. It is my property. But if I read you, if you say, no, give some to the others, to the needy ones, I want to accept. That's my prejudice. Then they cannot benefit. Of course, this is a material example or easily understandable example. But of course, what we want, for example, if you are going to humiliate me by saying that, for example, you are a created being, so submit your existence to me, I'm not ready for it. I am a great man. And read the Quran, never benefit from it. You cannot benefit. It doesn't make sense to you because it will all crush your egotistic prejudices, and you will react it. You won't benefit from it. That's what I understood. Look, so this one, for example, miraculousness. Above, beneath is the long discussion. But really, if one does not study the language of the Quran, cannot appreciate its miraculousness as far as the language side is concerned. But as far as the idea, perspective, understanding the reality of existence is concerned, everybody can appreciate the miraculousness of the Quran. It means crushes all the philosophical interpretations down and says, stop, there is no agent. There is nothing who has an independent existence, independence, quality, nothing in the universe. All of them are to be dumped into trash can. Or that is why challenging La ilaha illallah, there is no God but God, is a miraculous approach. We learn from the Quran everywhere in the Quran, so it needs to be a careful reading. Otherwise, Quran mentions something else. We may think that if we don't really study the Quranic language seriously, which is most of the case nowadays, majority of the people don't have time to study, and they will not be able to see it, but it is challenging. If you study, you will see it. Go and do it. You will understand it. Now, and also it's beneath it, proof and evidence is always Quran says, use your reason, look at the universe. That is how I am creating. That is what this is my work. You cannot attribute anything to anything else other than me, the absolute creator. So everything is an evidence. Human feelings are evidence. Human existence is an evidence. Primarily, we are using our own qualities and practicing them. All the feelings, all intelligence, consciousness, other feelings, what makes us as human beings, they are all evidence. And the universe, the way it is created, the way they are coming into existence, the way their existence is continuously being changed, this is also the evidence that the Quran demonstrates. What we can summarize this important principle: universe is the evidence of the Quran. Everything in the universe is the evidence of the Quran. That is why we cannot read the Quran without accompanying our experience of the universe. This is very essential and unfortunately not very commonly practiced. Unfortunately, that's why the Quran is not really appreciated as much as it deserves to be appreciated. Why? Because we don't see the evidence. We just read something, information, transformation of certain informations. We can see, oh, we are learning something from the Quran. No, not only learning. We are being convinced under the witnessing or evidence, proof of the work of the one who speaks in the Quran. That is why the universe belongs to its creator. Quran is the one who created the universe, speaks to me. Now, when you understand this, you will find the happiness of this world and the next. It means you will be happy with your existence. You will understand that everything is deliberately, wisely created for us, and this is for our education, training in this world, getting ready for our next creation after graduating from this world. So that is why we see that the Quran is emphasizing on it. The other one is, again, Quran always invites, challenges human beings. Question it. Don't straight imitate me. Question what I am saying. Whether it makes sense to you or not, you will find that it is reasonable. Your intellect confirms it and ensures it is truthfulness. So calling on the consciousness to witness and securing its admission is also very important. Conscience, it means the center of human beings. Oh, what makes me human being? Not my body. My body is like other ordinary creatures in the universe, other creatures, but especially my feelings. That is called conscience. What makes me a human being? And these qualities, all of them, witness and secure that, yes, I have to use them bearing in mind their honor. That is the point I want to mention here. The last one is equipped with the proof which repeats there is no God but God. Of course, what makes the Quran? There is no God but God. If I ignore while I am studying a verse of the Quran, and ignore there is no God but God, la ilaha illallah, very famous in Quranic language, la ilaha illahu, la ilaha illallah, la khaliqa illahu, la rahima illahu, ya nasra illahu. All the phrases are the, spread everywhere in the Quran. So without reading the Quran, La ilaha illallah, any piece of the Quran, you may not be benefiting from the Quran. Even when it says, give charity to poor, needy, or take care of your parents. Where is La ilaha illallah? Yes, La ilaha illallah is in the heart of this matter. How? The giving charity, declaring that I am not the owner of the property. It is given to me as a gift. It is the gift of the Creator, not mine. The property is not mine. You see, La ilaha. I am not the owner. In Arabic, I am not the Malik. The only Malik is the creator of the property I have. Of course, nowadays properties are symbolized or represented by paper bills. But we know the value that you buy with these paper bills, what is created by God. So when you buy something, when I buy something with my paper bill, then nowadays paper bill is no good either. Credit card or debit card. When I buy something with this stuff, with these representatives, I buy only what is created by God. It means even the paper bill, what it represents, says La ilaha illallah, according to the teachings of the Quran. So taking care of your parents, where is La ilaha illallah there? This is something that I have to do. Quran orders me to do. No, wrong. Sure, wrong. Why? You are created in such a way with the sense that if you don't deny and condition yourself, that was the first condition. Let's remind it. Sound heart. Sound heart is essential. So see that you need to be created. You need to be created. Your feelings also are given to you as a guide, who you are, what your reality is, and you have the feeling that I gave you, it is my property, don't distort it, don't contradict in these feelings while you are using your free will. I left you free, but understand that you are not the creator of your feelings. You are not the creator of the organizations or settings that you are created with. Now, I created your parents to take care of you when you were babies. If you are now existing as you are at the age of 20, 30, 50, whatever, then if you are, that is my act of creation, and I am now telling you, use your human feelings that these parents took care of you when you were baby because I employed them for your service. Now your being, your feelings, your being belongs to me. You cannot deny it. And according to your feelings and your beings right now, this is your turn. It is my property. These feelings are my property. I am already instructed in them. You should take care of the needy ones. Human beings are created with such a sense that, for example, if I have a neighbor, you have a neighbor, imagine, he has children, but the children never takes care of him, and this man cannot feed himself. Think about this table, or this scenery. Can you not help this man, this person, next door neighbor? You know that he cannot eat and he will die of hunger. Can you not ever take care of him unless you corrupt your feelings, deny your reality that is there? That is why even the non-believers, nobody, for example, a person, imagine, doesn't believe in God anything, he or she will definitely take care of this neighbor. Definitely, she will do whatever she can do. Why? She is created with the sense by God, and that she has to do it because she is employed by the Creator, unless she corrupts it by his or her free will. Then everybody knows that this man, for example, if I don't do it, they will look at me, staring at me. This is the one who is not taking care of his neighbor, who is dying of hunger. He doesn't care. Which kind of arrogant criminal man he is. Human feelings will announce it. That is why we have to understand that every single verse must be read by bearing in mind that La ilaha illallah, that is how I have to do it. Because La ilaha illallah, that is why my God is reminding me this reality. This is the best way of reading the Quran. That's what I understand it. Inshallah. It's a long explanation, but that's how we should appreciate the Quran. I need it to share my feelings. Okay. Any comment? Otherwise, we can continue reading. Okay. I think there is no voice. Let me see. Okay, everyone is here. Okay.
Uh-huh. In short, both God's most noble messenger, peace and blessings be upon him,
So,
and the most decisive criterion of truth and falsehood were sons. One, the tongue of the manifest world, pointing with the fingers of Islam and messengership, and confirmed by all the prophets, and purified ones, supported by 1,000 miracles, demonstrated this truth with all his strength.
yeah, this paragraph summarizes the 11th, here we studied 11th flash about the prophet, this one, Muhammad. This summary of the 11th, I think we talked about a lot, so we can continue, inshallah.
And the other, like the tongue of the world of the unseen, indicating with the fingers of right and guidance under the confirmation of all the creational signs in the universe within 40 aspects of miraculousness, demonstrates the same truth with all seriousness. Is that truth then not clearer than the sun and more brilliant than sunlight?
Yeah. Now, the conclusion paragraph is just, I mean, we can read and understand and go. But this one, this word, tongue of the word of dancing. I don't know, myself, I'm not interested in videos or YouTube videos, this kind of things. I'm not interested in them, and I feel them just really unnecessary for my life, and there is no need to spend time on them. But while I am going through some serious subjects or how do you say, sites, for example, I use this very, this is for my writings, is this one. This program is very helpful. Synonyms, antonyms, definitions, and look, advertisements. Look, never stops, never stops. Now, why I mentioned that? I am annoyed, but what shall I do? I cannot stop it, and that is how the market is. I mean, do you think this service is free? No, no, nothing is free in this worldly life. Although creation is totally free, 100% free, but when human beings own it, it becomes very pricey. So it attracts my attention. Why am I mentioning that? Sometimes they present recipes, and a lady nicely dressed and look very well presented uh, uh, video, really very professionally done. That's what advertisement works. How the advertisements work to attract and divert my attention. I see a lady presenting how to cook something. I put this, look, she does it and speaks. And then add a little bit of potatoes and a little bit of chopped, some onion. Look at the action and word, the tongue. That is what the author describes the Quran, exactly the tongue of the word of the unseen. It means tongue of the word of the source of existence of the universe. So I have to take the universe as the biggest materially manifested form of the Quran and speech form of the Quran next to each other. Whole universe is one side. Quran is another side. What I have to do, I have to listen to the Quran, what it says. I have to examine the universe at the same time. So how a recipe is applied, this is what I mean. For example, I am using a new machine. I don't know how to use it. And what I do, here is the machine in front of me, and look at the instructions manual, the user's manual next to me, read the reader's manual, and go and apply it in the machine step by step. That is how the Quran and machine, Quran and the universe works hand in hand. That is the beautiful understanding of the universe and the Quran. To me, to me, this understanding of the Quran, presentation of the Quran, as far as my knowledge tells me, I go through many classical sources. Nursi's this simple but very precise and logically consistent method is or stands up unique. So interesting. Why? In this age, this is the point needs to be spread, advocated among the people, because this age is the age of materialism, worldly concerns. How can I really, or how the materialistically minded and secularist, everybody's gone through secularist education, and they are now integrated into or invited to study the Quran. The only way, use the material world as the evidence of the speaker of the Quran. Look, whoever created the universe is speaking to you. Read this text accordingly. So read the manuals, user's manual, and apply it to the universe, like using the manual, how to utilize and benefit from the machine or anything you have in front of you. That is what the method obviously and definitely needed in this age to present to people. Before, people didn't need it. That's why scholars didn't take notice of it. People believed in the Quran, saying, Quran mentions about God. Of course, the universe is a God. I have no problem. Let me learn what he says so that I will apply it in my life. I know it is true. Now, this age, it doesn't work. And this author is aware of it. That's why I love this author. Personally, his method is, I mean, unequivocal. This is interesting. And also, that's why we are reading his writings here together in order to benefit from them. So that is what I got from this paragraph you read.
Okay, should I continue? O obdurate little man, sunk in misguidance, how can you oppose these suns with the lamp of your head dimmer than a firefly? How can you show disdain for them? Are you trying to extinguish them by blowing? Pooh to your denying mind. How can you deny the words and claims which those two tongues of the manifest and unseen world speak in the name of the sustainer of all the worlds and owner of the universe, which they speak on his behalf? O you wretch, lower and more impotent than a fly! Who are you that you attempt to give the lie to the universe's glorious owner.
That is the final conclusion. Challenging, but really, I think after studying all these sections and understanding the evidence, I think we can say that, come on, man, they are just making up stories, not to accept the creator and not to accept that their owner is the owner of the universe. They have to submit their uh, being to its real owner, the creator, which is called here uh, unseen. Yeah, unseen words. So speaking the name of so this unseen being, unseen being ghaibi, which means not in the universe, not part of the universe, because I mean the maker of a thing cannot be within the thing itself. He must have another existence. That will be understand. Now, I think we can read the conclusion and prediction at the end. Not a kind of prayer. And today, inshallah, we can conclude this and start the 23rd word next week. Do you have any comment before we read the conclusion, which is the conclusion of what we have been talking? Do you have any concern, any question before we conclude all this subject that we have been studying? I don't know how many months. I don't know. Inshallah, it wasn't boring. Anything that needs to be discussed, questions, comments? Okay, we can read it, inshallah.
Okay. O friend, whose mind is alert and heart attentive, if you have understood this 22nd word from the beginning up to here, take the 12 flashes together in your hand, and finding a lamp of truth as powerful as 1,000 electric lamps, adhere to the below mentioned verses of the Quran, mount the steed of divine assistance, ascend to the heavens of truth, rise to the throne of divine knowledge, declare, I testify that there is no God but you. You are one. You have no partner. And saying, I testify that there is no God but God. He is one. He has no partner. His is the dominion and his is the praise. He gives, excuse me, he gives life and gives death, and he is ever living and dies not. In his hand all is good, and he is powerful over all things. Proclaim his unity over the heads of all the beings in the universe, in this mighty mosque of the world. Glory be to you. We have no knowledge save that which you have taught us. Indeed, you are all knowing, all wise. O sustainer, do not call us to task if we forget or fall into error. Our sustainer, lay not a burden on us like that which you laid on those before us. Our sustainer, lay not on us a burden greater than we have the strength to bear. Blot out our sins and grant us forgiveness. Have mercy on us. You are our protector. Help us against those who stand against faith. This is from the Quran 286. O our sustainer, let not our hearts deviate now after you have guided us, but grant us mercy from your presence. For you are the granter of bounties without measure, our sustainer. You are he that will gather mankind together against a day, which there is no doubt. For God never fails in his promise. From the Quran 3:8-9.
3 represents the chapter number, section number. 8 and 9 are verse numbers. If somebody is interested to read the original of these verses, they can refer it.
Okay. O God, grant blessings and peace to the one whom you sent as a mercy to all the worlds and to all his family and companions, and have mercy of us and have mercy on his community through your mercy, O most merciful of the merciful. Amen.
Um,
And the close of their prayer will be, Praise be to God, the sustainer of all the worlds. The Quran, the Surah, Surah 10, Ayah 10.
Thank you, mashallah. Now, Alhamdulillah, we concluded this, and my intention is to go on reading the 23rd word and following the series of the book for the moment, but we may change it if you have another alternative. Now, of course, everybody knows that the Quran declares the Prophet, blessing, this grant blessing and peace or to the one whom you sent us, the Prophet, and mercy to all worlds. This is Rahmatan lil Alam. It's a very famous verse of the Quran. Everybody says it and narrates it. All scholars here and there, when the public speakers always mention this word, which is important. Of course, it is worth mentioning. What does it mean? Mercy to all the worlds, not necessarily the human beings, because human beings need guidance and uh, it is the best guidance appropriate to human nature, the way the human beings are created, appropriate to human consciousness, human intelligence, human feelings. Yeah, when you study the Quran, you will understand. If you don't study the Quran and look at the people around you, those people who say, I am a Muslim, and these people are such and such, such and such, this is not the way of benefiting from the Quran. You have to seriously study the Quran, and you will understand how this message is important. How about the Prophet? Why he is described as mercy to all the world? Through the teachings of the Quran, and of course, representation of this teaching in the life of the Prophet, we learned how we should treat the whole universe, not only physically, how we should treat. There is no need to make up or bring about many environmental protection projects. You will learn that from the Quran, everything is to be respected for their existence, just because they are the creatures of the one who created you, your owner's property, and they represent, they serve to you in order to introduce your creator, who your creator is, to you through their existence. So everything is honored in the eye of a person who benefits from the teachings of the Quran brought to us and represented in his life by the Prophet. So that is why not only to me, but to every being became or gained their real honor with the teachings of the Quran. That is why in the life of the Prophet, we see how he was respectful to the not only human beings, not only animals and plants, but every being. Every being. He was respectful to inanimate beings as well. Why? Because they are the gifts, trusts of our Creator. That is one point. Another point, the mighty mosque of the world, this expression is also quite unique to Nursi's teaching, the mosque of the world, because according to his teaching, we understand that the Quran declares everything is proclaiming in their own capacity, declaring the qualities of their creator, which means announcing, which is called exalting, announcing the qualities of their creator. By announcing the qualities of their creator, they are performing their worship of God. So, through the teachings of the Quran, the whole universe becomes a mosque. But every being, not only the Muslims or believers, can perform their prayer anywhere on the earth. They don't have to go to the masjid, although it is better to go and have a community life there, but they don't have to. They can pray by the sidewalk or in a parking place or in a gas station. It is perfect, but it is a very, very petty, very small understanding, narrow understanding of the Quran. Whole universe is a mosque, every being declaring his quality and worshiping him by fulfilling their mission of existence. So human beings are expected to join it. All right, inshallah, we will stop here. And then, if you have any comment, anybody, and then I'm ready to listen. Otherwise, we will conclude and start from the 23rd word, inshallah, next
Yep,
week.
yep, we'll start that next week.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر